Oh, so last time I showed you how I was able to create an automated employee payslip using Microsoft Excel. So as you can see here, we have our timesheet tab. We can see like a template for the payslip, and then we also have our master time log sheet or tab. So this is a pseudo data. So in this sheet, you should be able to see the records or time logs for our employee. And here in our timesheet, um, what you're gonna do is you just have to enter the employee number and the start and end date for like a specific period or like the cutoff date. And once we click the filter, it will auto-populate this table and give us the details for these certain fields. And we'll also be able to save this template as PDF. So let me show you how to do that. Let's go. So for this tutorial, I will not be able to walk you through on basically how to create this template, because we all know that we have like for our companies, we have our own design or template. What I'm going to teach you is like the logic behind the automation that's happening in this automated employee payslip, like how it is being filtered automatically. So let me just close this for the meantime, and let's go here. um, I I've created a separate file that has the master time log, but with only the like the record ID, employee number, and date. And also we have this filter criteria. And so first, what I'm gonna teach you is how to how does autofilter work in Excel VBA. So let's go ahead and open our Visual Basic Editor. So from book 1, let's insert a new module. And let's create a new sub procedure. So let's call it sub filter and click enter. So the syntax for VBA AutoFilter is this one. So expression dot autofilter, open and close parenthesis, and inside is the field criteria 1, operator criteria 2, and visible drop down. So the expression, this is the range where the range that we want to filter basically. So in our case, this is the range in our master time log tab or sheet. Next is so dot autofilter and then the field. This is an optional argument. So this is the column that we want to filter. So here, for example, we want to filter the employee number. So column A is 1. So column B is 2. So the field would be number 2. And then for the criteria 1, let's say we're gonna filter our master time log sheet via employee number. So our criteria 1 is the employee number itself. And for the operator, so in case we have two criteria, so in our case, basically we need to filter our master time log by employee number and then by date. So we have two criteria. So for the operator, we there are there are basically um, a lot, or there are multiple operators available that we can use. So it's gonna be like XL and XL or XL bottom 10, top 10. Let me write it down for you. So yeah, XL bottom 10%, top 10. We also have filter cell color, filter dynamic, filter font color, filter icon, and filter values. And for this tutorial, what we're gonna use is the XL end. And for the visible drop down, so we can set it to true or false if after we filter the data, if we want to see like the drop down icon. So like this one, this is the drop down icon. So if it's set to false, it's going to clear the filter. If it's true, so it's just gonna be on a filter like status, or basically the drop down icon is visible. So first, let us filter the worksheet or the master time log via employee ID. So let's call our worksheet. So master time log dot range. So this is from A1 to C16. Dot auto filter. So let's try to run this code without having to put in any criteria. Let me clear. Let's go back. So you can see when I run this, it automatically set the range to like a filter status. Now, so let's go back to our syntax. Let's copy range dot autofilter. Then it says here open and close parentheses. Then the field. So So here, let's the open and close parentheses is not really needed. So let's input the field. So again, column B is number 2. And then let's put in criteria 1 equals, let's say employee 12349. Let's use a double quotes. So by the way, if we want, because the criteria should be adjacent to the field argument, but if you want it to be like on the next line, we enter space and then underscore. So let's go ahead and run. Okay, so as you can see, it was able to filter 12349 employee number. Now, let's add the second criteria, which is the date. Or let's try another employee number. So we're just gonna test the operator argument. So colon equals Excel and comma criteria 2 equals, let's clear this. Let's choose 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, this should be column. Okay, and statement. So criteria 1, comma, operator, then comma, then the criteria 2. So it should give us a record only for 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's run. Okay, my bad. So this should be XL4. Okay, so as you can see, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 9. Okay, so next, let's try to filter our data by date. And we're just gonna create a new sub procedure. So let's name it sub filter date, then click enter. Then let's call our worksheet. Let's just copy this code. Now, as you can see, the date is in column C, so the field should be 3. And let's try first criteria 1. Let's filter our data, let's say April 9. So double quotes. Let's try. Alright. So as you can see, it's able to filter our data to only April, to show data that has a date of April 9th. Now let's try April 8th. There you go. Now, for example, let's see if this would work. Like if our data or date format is different, like month first, then date, then the year. So it will not work. So it should have the same format. Okay. Now let's go ahead and filter our data to display records that is in between the start and end date. And for that, we will use the operator Excel end. So criteria 2. So let's run to check if there will be any errors. Okay, I forgot we should have here. So for the start date, it should be greater than or equal the start date. And for the end date, it should be less than or equal the end date. Mhm. Mm, let's see why this is not working. Okay, so if we are manually, like we are not saving the date in a variable, the format should be on a month slash date slash year. So the date and the month should be like in two characters. So that's why it wasn't working earlier. So, but right now, yep, you can see that it's able to filter our data to show records that are in between April 8th and April 9th. Okay, so next is we're going to combine these two filters. So here we will basically just have to delete the criteria 2 for the first um, expression and then call filter date. Okay, and let's see what's gonna happen. Right, so it's able to show us the record for employee number 12349, but only for dates between April 8th and April 9th. Now let's make it dynamic by saving or creating a variable for employee ID and for the start date and end date. Now let's go here in our filter criteria tab. So here I have start date and end date. So we're gonna enter our criteria 1 and 2 for dates here in cells E1 and E2. And I will insert also like a date picker or calendar. So here in my version of Excel, I'm just gonna have to go to developer tab and add ins and choose this mini calendar or something. Okay. So I need to click first cell E1, then choose a date here in the calendar. So I choose April 8th, and for the end date, let's try April 10th. And for the employee ID, now for the employee ID, you can just make or create a drop down. Not gonna show you here for this tutorial, but so we're just gonna have to enter that manually. So let's say 12346 is our employee ID. So let's first let's um, write the code option explicit. So again, this is to force our code to declare the variables before running the actual command or code. And then sub, let's just name it filter master data. And let us declare the variable. So dim EID as variant and dim start as date and edate as state. And let's also again use the last row. And so for this procedure, we're going to call two worksheets since the EID, start date, and end date variables are in the filter criteria sheet, and our master data is in our master time log sheet. So let's first call in the filter criteria to save the values to our variables. Dot range. So again, our employee ID is in cell E4. Dot EID equals. Okay, let's try to display the EID by using message box to see if it's capturing the employee ID value correctly. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, perfect. And the S date is E1, E2. Let's just copy this one. And then let's copy our code for the filter. So master time log. So let's replace this with the variable EID. And for the date. So notice that we will not be able to basically combine the criteria EID and the criteria for the date. So basically we filter our data twice. So first is via EID, then AutoFilter again via the start and end date. So here you would notice that the greater than and equal sign is in between the double quotes, and we will combine basically a string with a variable. So again, we will use the ampersand sign and the variable state. And let's do the same for the criteria too. So end and date. And let us okay, we're just gonna then let's go to our master time log. Let's clear the filter and let's see what will happen if we run this procedure filter master data. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and then our date is between April 8 and 10. So April 8, 9, and 10. And let's try a different employee ID, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. Okay, there you go. And there you go. So let's clear this one. Another thing that we need to modify to make this code dynamic is so our master time log sheet. So there will be new data every now and then. So it will not always be A1 to C16. So for us to make the last row dynamic, so remember I have declared a variable here for L row, stands for the last row. So let us get that, or let's identify what is the last row. So worksheets, last row in our master time log tab or sheet dot range. Let's say the last row for in column A, and row step count. So this is the syntax for the last row. So call the sheet, or basically the expressions, and the range, uh, and then the range, the column, and then end row stat count, close parentheses dot end excel up dot row. So let's copy the row, and again we will combine a string and a variable. So let's use the ampersand sign, and same with this. And let's see. Let's add another data, and it should be, say, April 11. And then let's go to filter criteria. Let's change it to April 11. And let's run. So we should declare this above. Okay, there you go. So for employee ID 12347, and the date is between April 8 and 11. So okay, so next is copying the filter data to another sheet. So for example, like this one. Okay, so like this one. Okay, so here, as you can see, it filters the 12347 employee number and the date between April 8 and 11, and paste it here to cell G1. And to do that, so I have created here another sub procedure, and I named it copy filter data. So again, declare a variable for the last row in the master timeline sheets. So here, it is basically getting the last row used in column A, and then for it to copy only the visible cells, or technically the filter data. So worksheets master time log dot range. So our range is from A1 to C, and then the last row. So A1C, which is a string, and last row, which is the variable. And we will use the argument dot special cells, open and close parenthesis, Excel cell type visible dot copy, and pasting it to worksheets filter criteria dot range. So again, in cell G1, range G1 dot paste special, and I want it to paste only values. So paste equals to XL paste values, and the application cut copy mode is for let me show you what does it do. So let me just comment that out and run. So as you can see, once it copy and paste the data, it leaves um, like the dotted or dashed line as a sign that it was copied or cut. So for us to remove that, we add the code application dot cut copy mode and set it to false. So when we try it again, it should not be there. Now, so within the filter master data procedure, we will call the copy filter data. That's why I pasted it here. And then once the data was already pasted in the filter criteria sheet, let's clear the filter and the master time log. So I'm going to comment this out, and we will use the dot autofilter mode and set it to false. So let me show you that one more time. Let's clear. And let's run the filter master data. Okay, so it's no longer filtered. And in our filter criteria sheet, as you can see, it's able to filter 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 employee, and the dates between April 8th and April 11th. So basically that's it. I hope you've learned something today, and see you again next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye bye bye.